believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How are ya? Howdy. I started to say howdy and how are you, and it came out weird. Hello. Good morning. I have been up quite literally all night. I've been watching the sunrise a lot lately. Hey, the sunrise is beautiful, though. Can't beat a good sunrise, and the fact that I'm alive to see another sunrise or a sunset is always a good thing. So that's good. I'm glad that I'm around to see that. But the reason that I'm seeing sunrises and sunsets and all of that is because I'm not sleeping. And of course, obviously, the whole entire podcast is about the fact that I don't sleep. But excuse me, it's been a life. I was going to say it's been a week, it's been a day, but it's been a life. It's been quite the life. And I'm not complaining. I'm not going to sit here and go on and on about how, about my past and all that has gone on in it, because I don't want to sound like a martyr. But I've gone through a lot of stuff for sure. And now here I am, just awake and trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life. It's hard. So I'm going to get into it. When you are in a relationship that you have put a large amount of time in, and you have stood by a person through a lot of stuff, a lot, and you have forgiven a lot, and you have been loyal and trustworthy and kind and forgiving, and you make decisions based on having a partner and based on income that you have combined. You get things based on a 2-income household. You get animals based on living with property. You make decisions based on 2 people, and what you think you're going to do and what you have and all of that. And of course, I take the future into consideration. Of course, there are things that I take into consideration for the future and stuff. But point being, I wouldn't get 4 dogs had I known that now I need to find a place to live, and finding a place to live with 4 dogs is incredibly difficult. I mean, apartments usually take 1, maybe 2, but they're not going to take 4. And obviously I wouldn't have got 4 dogs had I known that I was going to be in this situation. And I certainly wouldn't have built a house, and I certainly wouldn't have done a lot of things, And so what's frustrating is I find it really shitty that I'm the one that has to, because I don't want to be in a really abusive relationship, that I'm the one now that is forced to just be out on my own and suddenly have 1 income and 4 dogs and a car that has 240,000 miles on it. And suddenly I have to live on that on my own. I mean, I've done this many times, unfortunately. I got married at a really young age. I had my first son at 19, and I got married at 20. And we got divorced at 24. And I had 2 kids. I was going to school part-time to be a CNA, and I was working full-time. And suddenly now I had to have an apartment, and I didn't do child support. What I did instead is everyone's like, you need to go after your husband for child support, for child support. You need to get this, you need to get that. And I said, or I could just expect him to be a good father and he could have joint custody. Because why would I want my children to suffer and not see their dad, who is a good dad and loves his kids and wants to be there for his kids? So if he wants to be in his kids' lives and he's a good dad, and then why wouldn't I do joint custody? Just to be a bitch, just to be vindictive and be spiteful? For what purpose? That only affects my children. I never understood why people do that. Why use your kids as chess pieces? That's not, if you love your kids, if you care about your kids' well being, if you genuinely love your kids and want what's best for your children, you wouldn't sit there and try to smite each other and piss each other off and use kids as tools and weapons. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't understand people that play games. It's weird to me. I've always just been a straight shooter and told it like it is. And I don't understand the game thing. I don't get that. But point is, when I got divorced, I did say that at the time, my kids' dad had a job, a great job that had benefits. And I said, look, instead of doing this whole child support and I try to get custody and all of that crap, how about you have the kids 3 days a week, I have the kids 4 days a week, and you put them on your insurance. And then that's what we did. And then anytime they needed school clothes or supplies or stuff for sports or whatever, we both took care of it. If he had a little more money at the time, he took care of it. If I had a little more money at the time, I took care of it. And otherwise, we just combined it. We just worked it out like adults. And it was funny because we were very young. I was 24, he was 25. We were very, very young. And then, excuse me, um, we we got divorced when I was 24, and then we had our second son when I was 23, and we got divorced at 24. And so when I was 24, he's 25, and we just didn't do that. And so the point is, even when I'm the one that wanted the divorce, we just still played nice, and we didn't try to use the children or anything like that as tools. And then when you get older and you're in relationships and you're in them for a very long time, like 12 years, for example, and you are forgiving and patient and loyal, and you do things together and you buy homes together and all of that, when someone decides to leave, um, because they have every right to, because the relationship isn't healthy, I don't find it fair that the person leaving has to suddenly figure everything out on their own. It's like they just have to be homeless because, again, in Bidenomics, with the economy the way it is, I don't know how anybody is living without having like 8 people in their house sharing a 1-bedroom apartment. I just, we had a cab driver in Las Vegas that was hilarious, an Uber driver. His name was Juan, and he made me laugh so hard. He said, hey, because we were kind of talking about how expensive things are, and I was asking him how much apartments and houses are in the Las Vegas area, and he said, oh, they're pretty expensive, so everybody has to live with like 10 people in a house. And he goes, so finally, Americans are doing it Mexican style. The Mexicans have had this figured out for a long time, and you Americans are just now doing it. And he's like, we started this. Now, this is coming from a Mexican person, and I was told by Mexican people that I'm allowed to say Mexican, that it is not politically incorrect as long as they are from Mexico. It's politically incorrect if they're from like Costa Rica. Oh, my cow has something to say. If they're from like Costa Rica or my brain just went dead. Cuba or something like that, then obviously they're not Mexican because they're not from Mexico. But I've been told by over 1,000 people on my YouTube channel, by his Mexican people, that I'm allowed to say that. So at any rate, he told me that and it cracked me up. And that's what he's right, though. That's kind of what you have to do to be able to afford anything. And now I'm just supposed to be homeless. And now I have these dogs that, again, I wouldn't have got so many dogs had I known the situation. And I realize that's everybody's situation. When you get married or when you get in a relationship, you don't know what the future is going to bring you. And so, you think that you're going to have these things forever together. But why am I the one screwed? And I'm not married. So unfortunately, I'm not really entitled to anything. And Oregon doesn't have the common law marriage thing anymore, although they do have squatters' rights. So, I wonder if I could be considered a squatter. But now I am trying to, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. And it's stressing me out. It is not a good feeling to not know. I don't have a reliable car. I don't have a place to go, and I certainly don't have the income. And even if I found a roommate, I have 4 dogs, and I'm not leaving my dogs because I don't want anything to happen to my dogs. I don't want them to be, not cared for, and they're my dogs. I'm not going to betray them. So I don't know. I just feel like this has happened a lot in my life. And again, I don't want to get in and sound like I'm like boo-hoo, martyr victim, but alcoholism is something that has just really been fucking up my life since literally the day I was born. Addiction since the day I was born. And then the 2 people in my life that weren't addicts, that were very, very safe, that I was incredibly, incredibly close to, were my grandparents. And they died, both of them died by the time I was 25. One of them right before my birthday. And so, and then my other grandma died on my birthday, my 25th. That was good times that year because I was going through a lot, cancer and meningitis. And anyway, so it's infuriating to me that I'm the one that has to figure this out. And meanwhile, the person that has betrayed my trust and went behind my back and stuff just gets everything. And that happens a lot in my life. And I had to make the decision for my mom to move out of their paid off, beautiful home that was going to be willed to me, and had to move her to a facility that could care for her while she, because she was getting dementia. And I can't take care of her. I have to work full time. My house is not conducive for that. I couldn't afford an in-home caregiver. And her insurance didn't cover it because this is for real, she made $112 too much for the state to take care of it. $112 too much. So that $112 cost my mom her entire fucking house. That's our government. Nobody should have to give up their paid off family home to go stay in a nursing facility that she had to pay for, by the way. That home that she sold got her only 2 years. That's it. 2 years. $400,000 got my mom 2 years in a memory care facility. That is some bullshit. People shouldn't have to sell their homes to do that. And then people are going to go, oh, well, there's Social Security and there's Medicaid and Medicare and all this stuff. Guess what? That pays for you to basically get 1 shower a day and hardly taken care of because every nursing facility is so fucking understaffed because they don't treat their CNAs well or pay them well. And because they're always short-staffed, nobody ever wants to do the job because they're doing the work of like 3 CNAs and getting paid the work of like half of a person. So then the government acts like they're doing these people a favor. But the problem is my mom had to pay for it first. And then once that ran out, they were like, oh, we'll pick up the rest of the years she's alive. Oh, gee, thanks. Oh, after you got $400,000 in 2 years and took away the home that she grew up in. I mean, not that she grew up in, that she lived in for 40 years and that her husband died in, that was paid off, that could have been handed to me and then my children and gone down through my children's children. But instead, I had to pick between my mom just being homeless, just wandering the streets with dementia, or selling her fucking home. And then my grandparents willed me their home. And then I had a great aunt who was the executor of the will, and an incredibly, incredibly long, twisted story that you would not believe, but is true. She took the house from me because she committed fraud. And I tried to, again, this is back in my 20s. I was young. And I tried to find a lawyer that would take it pro bono because I was going through divorce and had 2 kids and all this shit. And I couldn't afford a fucking lawyer. And that was when email and internet for real, like, had only been out for not very long. And I had got on the internet and scoured. I mean, God, I must have emailed and called like 40 attorneys in the state of Washington, and it had to be in Washington at the time, and nobody would take it. And there's a statute of limitations, not on fraud, but there is on the other stuff that she did. And then she died, and my mom kept telling me she was going to help me pay for an attorney, and then she never did. So my grandparents' house that was willed to me, that I grew up in, that was my safe house that I have a million memories in, got taken from me. And the state of Washington tried to claim that they had to put a lien on it because my grandfather was in a nursing home for a year, 1 year. My grandparents' home at that time was, I mean, this is back in the 90s, late 90s, was worth probably $250,000. And they tried to claim that they needed all of that for the first year. And so my aunt was going to pay off the lien, but it was willed to me. So I had to sign some documents. But anyway, it's a whole thing. But the problem is, the point is, I didn't get this home. And I'm not talking about, I'm saying like, oh my gosh, I want these houses. I want my parents, my mom's house, and I want my grandparents' house, as in a selfish, greedy thing. I'm saying that it's not fair that the state takes away things from you and makes you decide between basically having people be in a nursing home and getting cared for, or being homeless, and you having to give up your family's homes because, places that mean a lot to you, that are sentimental to you, that you grew up in. That's not fair. And just like it's not fair right now that suddenly there's no common law marriage, but yet you can do crack on the streets of Oregon. You can do drugs on the streets of Oregon, but now they got rid of common law marriage. So I could be a squatter probably, but I have no rights to this house because I'm not married. And I do believe in common law marriage, because if you're, look at not Whoopi Goldberg. Oh God, sorry, Goldie Hawn. I did not mean to disgrace your name like that. Oh God, that is like, definitely would never want to call somebody Whoopi Goldberg. That's, sorry, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They've been together for how many years now, and they're not married? You're telling me that if they separated, neither of them are owed anything? No, that's some bullshit. When you're with someone for 12 years, I feel like I shouldn't be the one walking away with absolutely fucking nothing and have to start all over at 50 with 4 dogs in Bidenomic land. And then if Harris wins, if Kamala fucking wins, which I'm scared shitless she's going to, if she wins, oh my God, I'm going to be living in a 50 by 50 little box paying $3,000. I mean, that's basically New York right now. It's pretty much New York. So I don't know. I'm a little stressed. And everyone's like, well, you're going to have to give up your dogs. No, two of them are very young. And one of them is my best friend for the last almost 14 years. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Oh my God, the cow. Wow. The cow next door has a lot to say. Holy cow. Come on, Gwenny. No. Gwen, come here. The cow next door has a lot to say. Go get your ball. So I'm a little stressed. I'm trying to figure out what to do. And my entire family is dead. I don't have a family. I have both of my sons and my grandkids, and that is it. I don't have siblings or aunts or cousins or parents or grandparents or anything like that. I do have friends, thank God. I do have friends, and that is wonderful. And I've had a lot of people offer things. It's just that I have dogs and I don't know what to do about, them. I can't leave them. I just can't. So that's where I'm at right now. How are you guys? What's going on in your world? The cows are just really going crazy right now. What's going on in your world, guys? Who's freaked out about the election? I know I'm scared shitless. I feel like I'm going to crap my pants because I'm thinking there's a very strong possibility that Kakala Harris is going to become president. And the thought of that terrifies me. Guys, come on. Sorry, I'm trying to get them in. Let's go. It's terrifying to think that a woman with so few brain cells, that is so evil, that is the biggest liar and hypocrite. Guys, come on. Biggest liar and hypocrite, I think, ever, next to Biden, of course, and Obama, and well, just the Democratic Party as a whole. And so I'm nervous. The polls, I know that there's like a 3% margin of error and all of that, but holy cow, it's like right there. And oh my God, you guys should see this cow. He is like making all this noise and literally frolicking like a little kid, just frolicking around. Oh my God. He's like frolicking around, jumping. I guess they're talking to each other. I don't speak cow. Anybody speak cow? I speak whale. You do not speak whale. You speak upset stomach. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack squirrel. That was Dory, but I feel like this is the same thing, but with cows. They're like sitting here talking to each other. Anybody? I can't see them, so I can't tell body language. Oh, wow. Okay. I can't see them anymore. They were frolicking around and now they're making all this noise. I could tell by body language what they're doing. Come on, Gwenny, let's go. Good girl. Anyway, God, that was a real digression there. Sidetrack squirrel moment. But I'm absolutely terrified that this evil woman and this dictatorship, this government is just pure evil and brain damaged. And the thought of people voting for that without a gun to their head, without being drugged, it's mind-boggling to me. I just don't understand what's going on. I genuinely don't understand how we have people out there that are still, right now, today, going to vote for her. But then I think, well, why not though? Because again, studies have shown over and over that she gets 87% of all the media coverage. God, now there's a plane. All the media coverage is 87% her. Come on. And it's all positive for her. She gets all the coverage and it's all positive coverage. Whereas Trump gets all negative coverage, and he gets like 13% of coverage. And out of that 13, like 12.9% of it is negative. Not because he's a negative person, not because he does negative things. I mean, yes, he's not the most poetic person. He doesn't speak very eloquently, and sometimes he can be a horse's ass, of course. But I'm just saying it's not because of his policies or whatever. It's just because the media refuses to report facts. They refuse to report on anything other than edited crap. And so he gets like 13%. And like I said, like 12.9% of it is negative. So that is why Kamala is probably going to be our next president. And that terrifies me. That's keeping me up at night. That is keeping me up at night. Because now more than ever, I really need Trump. And I'm not going to be able to make it on my own if Kamala is president. I mean, I'm a survivor. I'll do it. I always figure it out. I figure it out somehow, and I've done it before. I'll do it again. I did it with kids and going to school and all of that, but I already had a place to live at the time. Another time I got out of a really bad, really, really, really abusive relationship, and in the middle of the night, well, it wasn't the middle of the night, it was really, really early in the morning, I packed up my kids and my stuff, and I had been planning and planning prior to that and squirreling away money. And I kept just squirreling it away. And I talked to the manager of some apartment complex, and they worked with me on getting in. I told them the situation, and they were very awesome and worked with me on deposits and stuff. And I had got a certificate to get my dog in, which I know sounds shady, but she's my dog. She's coming with me. I don't care. So I worked it out and ended up getting a good job, and it had benefits and everything. So I tend to be better under pressure, a lot better under pressure when I'm one of those people where if I have to learn how to swim, you should just throw me out in the middle of the ocean and be like, there you go, either do it or die, and I'll do it. But again, it'd be a lot easier if I didn't have my dogs, but I just can't leave them. So I don't know. A lot is keeping me up. How are you guys sleeping? Who's sleeping? Are you guys sleeping? Are you listening to my podcast in the middle of the night on your way to work? I haven't received any fan mail. If you all want, if you have questions or want me to talk about a certain topic or stop talking about a certain topic, I guess, just give me a shout out. Thank you so much. I've been noticing France and Singapore and the UK and Canada. I feel bad because I pick on all you guys. Well, not Singapore. I don't pick on Singapore. But I pick on France all the time, and Canada and the UK all the time. And I have a lot of listeners from those places. So you are forking amazeballs. Honestly, you really are. Everybody that listens is amazing. Tell your friends. Be like, hey, if you want something to listen to on your way to work, or again, maybe it puts you to sleep and you're listening to it because it puts you to sleep. But whatever the case may be, tell your friends. But I appreciate every single person that has been listening since day one. And I appreciate the people that are just tuning in for the first time. And again, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Ramblings of an Insomniac 49 at Gmail. But give me a shout out. And I really am hoping that anybody that's going through a tough time, again, I understand that it's hard. I understand that there's a lot of decisions, a lot of choices that have to be made, and some choices are more difficult than others. And it feels like hell, and it feels like you're never going to get through it. And I get tired of people going, it's okay, it'll get better. Well, great. But right now I'm upset. Right now I'm sad. Right now I'm angry. Right now I'm stressed. So go through those emotions. Cry, punch a pillow, scream into a pillow, go hiking and all of that. Just feel your emotions. Feel mad, happy, sad, whatever. Feel them. Cry. And then once you've gotten that out of your system, come up with a solution. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I hate asking for help. It's not my forte. I don't ever ask for help. And that's just dumb of me. And if people offer help, don't be an idiot and say no because of pride. Pride can really get you into a pickle. I know because I'm prideful and it's gotten me into a lot of pickles because I refuse to ask for help or take help because I'm an idiot. And sometimes you just need to accept help or ask for help. It's okay. You're not weak. You're not incompetent. You're not a bad person. You're not using people. It's been my belief that most people, not all, but most people, when they offer to help you, they genuinely mean it. Most people genuinely mean it or they won't offer. And sometimes you just have to take it, not forever. Just like I'm not against welfare at all. I've said this from day one. I've had to use welfare. I'm not against help. I'm not against being on food stamps or getting some help with rent. I'm just against staying on it forever. I'm against using that as your entire support system forever. I think that at some point should try to get off of it. Now, if you're working full time and you're raising kids and you're doing every damn thing you can and you can't quite make it, then get on food stamps, get some rental assistance, get some health care or whatever you can. If you're working and you're genuinely trying and you're not doing drugs and shit, then you deserve to get some help. Just don't, stay on that forever and ever. That shouldn't be your goal. But also don't be afraid to get help from friends and family if they offer it. And don't be afraid to ask for it. The worst someone's going to say is no. And then, okay, then you can move on. But what if someone says yes? Or what if someone knows someone that can help you? Networking. And right now it's the situation. It's 2024. We have the internet. You can really ask a lot of people and get a even bigger support system because you can ask people all over the place. You can make an ad even, not a Craigslist. Nobody used Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace may not be it. But, I'm sure there's websites and places out there that you can have boards that you can ask people, hey, this is my situation. Anyone want to help me out? I mean, that gets a little creepy because you don't want to meet psychos. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that there is support out there. Don't be scared to ask for it or accept it because I never do. And then it bites me in the ass. And I don't want people thinking I owe them. I have this whole thing of I don't want anyone thinking I owe them. I want to do it on my own. I don't want anyone thinking that they've helped me out. And it's but why? Who cares if someone helps you out? But I'm a stupid, prideful person. So at any rate, I appreciate you. That's what I want you to know. And if you're going through it, I'm really freaking sorry. It sucks. And hopefully you will wake up each day and have a game plan and just make one simple goal, whether it's making one phone call or coming up with one solution or one idea or coming up with one friend to talk to or whatever. And do that one thing. And again, don't be afraid to accept help. Thanks for listening so much. Have yourself an awesome rest of your day or night, depending on where you are. Until next time.